Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Musey's Modern Dreadfuls. And I hope I can get through this story without any airplanes, dogs barking, kids crying, etc. But if it happens, that's what I pay my great editors for. So hopefully it won't. But today I was feeling nostalgic, and it has something to do with the story coming up. It is story time again at Musey's Modern Dreadfuls. So, most everyone, I would think, anybody listening to this, has gone on at least one road trip in their life. Okay. If you haven't, I don't know what to say, but, summer vacation, things like that. There's usually a road trip sometime in your life. And many of us have gone on more than one road trip. I'm sure many of you have gone on more than one. Like for vacation or, just to go on a trip with friends or family, vacation or what have you. Now, have you ever been on a road trip? Especially if you're female, but males are not protected from creepy things happening on road trips. But my fellow females, have you ever had a creep on you and show up over and over on your road trip? I have, and so has this person, and I'm about to tell you her story. So, before I do that, grab your beverage, get everything all set up so you're comfy and relaxed so you can hear the true story about the man in the truck. And, okay, before I even just count off, do not forget to subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, share, and enjoy. I will give you a couple moments to get everything you need. True story, one more time. The man in the truck. So I will start the story in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this happened just a few days ago when I was on a road trip with my cousin, James. For quick reference, I'm 13 and female. James is a 21-year-old guy. James and I were on a road trip from my grandmother's all the way to my aunt's house. I have a great relationship with James, my cousin, so my parents let me go on trips with him occasionally. It's about a 10-hour drive, and we were about 3 hours into the drive to my aunt's. It was about 9 p.m. at the time of this incident. I was pretty sleep deprived at this moment. I mean, visiting family, what have you, and everything became hilarious at that moment. So, when I saw out my window this huge red semi-truck, I just laughed my butt off. The man in the truck was heavyset. This is an understatement and a half. And had this long, untamed beard. He had this really creepy vibe. But because I was so sleep deprived and feeling goofy, I just waved at him. He in turn did a groping motion to me. Finding it more hilarious than creepy, I started laughing harder and harder and told James the story, doing the whole groping motion and all. James looked creeped out and disgusted. But there wasn't anything either of us could do about it. A while later, about 4.5 hours into our drive, James pulled into a rest stop. I walked in because I had to go to the bathroom, and when I came out, the man was just standing there. That same man. He looked to be at least 6 feet tall. I looked out of the glass door leading into the building and saw James glaring daggers at the door. I was confused and walked back to the car. What he told me really creeped me out, so much that I started crying. Yet again, though, I had been awake for around 20 hours at that time. The man had stared and followed me inside the building, mumbling crap about me. James said he was basically talking normally, like having a conversation. He attempted to comfort me, but quickly said he had to go to the bathroom and went inside. A few seconds later, when I was in the car alone, the guy was at my window. He stared at me, a wide, creepy grin. He stared and stared, saying I should go with him and he was going to treat me good. He offered me candy and tried to coax me into his semi-truck. I was busy bawling my eyes out. Then, right on cue, James walks out and yells at the guy and starts threatening him. The guy backed off and got into his truck. He still just stared at me, the grin still on his disgusting face. We floored it the heck out of there. We wanted to get as far away from that guy as possible. Around 12 a.m., we pulled into a motel to go to sleep. The rest of the night till 8 a.m. was perfectly fine. Nothing at all happened. Sadly, that didn't last long because when we were at the restaurant eating breakfast, that same creepy fatty sat across from us. He grinned at me and James the whole time. James looked off, pissed. The guy walked by the table, going to the bathroom, and brushed his hand on my shoulder, doing the same thing on the way back. A quick side note, James is a chill dude and will let most anything slide. But because he's known me since I was just a baby, he has been always very protective over me. He's not like that with even any of my other siblings, just me. So he was obviously pissed before, but at that point, he stood up from his seat and walked over to the guy's table. He started yelling crap. At this point, he had lost it. I was even shocked. Now, I'm happy to say, even though I got pretty shook up, James was smart enough to make 0 threats, but he did cuss a lot. Not that that's a biggie. I felt pretty nervous and just wanted to get out, let's go. The guy stood up and smacked James and yelled about how I was leading him on. I the 13-year-old was leading a grown adult who looked like a reject from ZZ Top on. Give me a break. The guy was about 6 feet tall, and James is approximately 6'8". Their argument continued until the cops came and separated it. They got the story and came to the conclusion that because James was assaulted, we could press charges on that disgusting pervert. James said no, and we just continued the day. Luckily, after that, the rest of the trip seemed completely bland. But we did not see fat ZZ Top truck driver guy again, happily. However, James did follow me around like a bodyguard wherever I went for the rest of the trip. Even though he was protecting me, I was still terrified. James may look scary as heck, being as big as he is, but deep down, he's really a pussycat. Anyway, that was the scariest trip I had as a teenager. Has anybody else had any freaky stories like this? If so, let me know. I'm not the only one creeped out permanently by bearded truck drivers late at night. And that's the end of our true story. I hope you enjoyed. All information will be down below. And if you have a story you want me to share, by all means, give it to me. If I have to adjust a few things, please don't be offended. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and cuss and cuss and cuss. Or if there's some grammatical stuff I need to fix, don't be offended. I am delighted anytime anybody is willing to share a story or is working on their craft. If they want to share stories, or even if it's their personal story, fact or fiction, I think it's great. And I will do what I can to present it. And listeners, if you want to check out more info or more, again, this was a true story. And this person does also post to Reddit. So if you want to find out more about some of her stories, you can find her link in the description below. In the meantime, I will talk at you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed. And I don't know, you might have a surprise coming up very soon. Alrighty, have a great afternoon, great evening. Do not forget to turn on the notification bell, because until we get our team back to a set schedule, all I can tell you is it's twice weekly that you get story time for sure, but I can't guarantee the days yet until everything's worked out. But I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.